Okay, ladies and gents, welcome. How's everybody doing today? It's time for some more wrestling chat here on CM42 TV. We're back because we missed last week, and it just so happened that last week would have been the biggest one of the whole year. It would have been my WrestleMania 36 review that I had planned for weeks, clearly talking about WrestleMania and the build up to WrestleMania. But because of some production problems here in CM42 TV studios, production problems in the sense of my laptop broke it, then I've talked about this the past few days here on the channel, but I had no access of uploading stuff, and I know I tend to do these wrestling videos on my phone, but then I couldn't organise a thumbnail and things like that. I couldn't share it properly, and I was like, just wait. And I was already stressing as well. I was trying to fix the laptop and that sort of thing, and it was putting me in a stressful mood, and that's not what we do here on the channel. We don't do stress. We try to relax, and we try to chill, and if we're chatting wrestling, or whether it be movies or music or whatever we're doing, that's what we're trying to focus on. And this week is a little bit better because I have a sort of makeshift laptop just now, you know, until I manage to get my own new one. This is a sort of work laptop that we share here in the family, so I'm kind of using this in the evenings whilst it's not been needed, you know, in terms of working from home aspects. So I'm doing some editing just now. In fact, funny you should mention that. You shouldn't have. I'm editing my brand new wrestling podcast. You all know I'm podcast daft here. I always seem to have a new podcast that I'm doing. Obviously I've had the good bit for a good number of years now, since 2016, so we're coming up to the 4-year anniversary, which is absolutely mental. But that is so sporadic these days, and because obviously before the quarantine it was already sporadic, but now the fact that we're stuck in the house and we can't, you know, access each other's company, it's kind of hard to arrange guests, and it's hard to arrange that kind of round table style that we do on The Good Bit that I love so much, and talk about movies. I've also been a guest recently on the Rap Chat podcast, which is hosted by two very well respected actors, Gregor Duncan and Ian Grieve, two people I know particularly well, so I've been a guest on their podcast this past week. So I was doing that, and then plus your usual sort of Zoom chats and all that kind of stuff on the laptop and remotely, you know. So why not start a brand new one? And I've been dying to start a wrestling podcast for ages, where I'll be talking wrestling every single week, and we do it here on CM42 TV every Tuesday. But I'm going to be doing this podcast every single Sunday as well. So I'll have this podcast outlet. There'll be, you know, full hour-long podcasts with my good close personal friend Glenn, who we met through wrestling and we connected through wrestling. So it is aptly named The Wrestling Connection. It's a podcast about how pro wrestling connects us all. Whether it be, you know, whether you're a wrestling fan yourself and somehow you found a connection with someone, whether it be a best friend or a family member or a future partner or whoever, through wrestling. You know, me and Glenn met being wrestling fans. We used to go to signings and that sort of thing around Glasgow, and we met there, and we just became really good pals over the years and kept in contact and that sort of thing. And now we, you know, find ourselves remotely, of course, at the time being, chatting wrestling every single Sunday. So please make sure you subscribe. It's going to be on YouTube as well, the Wrestling Connection YouTube channel. I will end up posting some clips here on CM42 TV, but it'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, Pocket Casts, all those ones, Podbean. It'll be on all them. Wherever you find your podcasts, we should be able to come to you every single week talking some wrestling, and it's really going to be a more general, you know, kind of chat. These videos I do here every Tuesday on CM42 TV are kind of about the current stuff and what's going on week to week, whereas the Wrestling Connection podcast is going to be, you know, individual topics about how wrestling connects us all. And for example, the first episode, which will be coming out, we did a pilot episode just Sunday there, and then this upcoming Sunday is the official first episode. And it's all about our wrestling story, how we became wrestling fans. So don't mention anything current other than your occasional topic here and there. But it's going to be like a story each time, and then we're going to do, you know, the recommendations of matches to watch every week, what I'm thankful for in wrestling this week, and we're going to do, you know, different stories about how we met wrestlers and all that good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun already from editing this first official episode or wrestling story. It's already giving me that kind of buzz and that kind of butterfly feeling that we're onto something, and it's a lot of fun already, and I'm dying to get into more. So I'm really excited about this. Hopefully some of the wrestling fans here on CM42 TV can join Glenn and I on this journey. So it's the Wrestling Connection. Twitter is at WrestleConnect1. All these links will be in the description. Instagram will be at WrestleConnection. The YouTube channel will be The Wrestling Connection, and I'm still to do a Facebook page, but I'm sure it'll be something very similar to that as well. So please check that out. I'm sure you'll love it. If you love wrestling in any way, shape or form, you should be able to find something to relate to and connect to on this new podcast. So until then, until we do some more Wrestling Connection Wrestling Connection themed chat here on the channel, let's talk about some modern stuff. And we missed WrestleMania 36's review, and in a nutshell, I loved it. It was definitely the most unique WrestleMania of all time, and it's going to be one that we're never going to forget. But in terms of, is it going to be one that we always go back to? In some aspects, yes, because the Boneyard match was one of my favourite things ever. The Firefly Funhouse match was one of my favourite things ever. Drew McIntyre, arguably one of my favourite wrestlers of all time because he's a homegrown guy. Always been a big advocate of Drew. People who have watched my videos for years will know that. Since 2010. I've been an avid fan. I remember unboxing his first ever figure, the Elimination Chamber Mattel figure, and it's still on my wall upstairs. I don't really collect Mattels, and all my boxed mint on card wrestling figures are all kind of stowed away in a cupboard or up in the loft and stuff. But I still have a few on my wall, and it's like my 1 of 1000 Undertaker and my Classic Series 1 Undertaker and my UK exclusive Shawn Michaels and the Montreal Screwjob 2-pack and my Classics 28 Roddy Piper that I have signed by Piper a couple of years before he passed away. And I also have the first ever Drew McIntyre figure. So the fact he wins the world title when he won the WWE title, is going to be a reason for me to go back to WrestleMania. But in terms of the reason I always go back to watch Classic Manias, it's because of the buzz, and it's because of the stadium, and it's because of the matches and the theme songs and the WrestleMania vibe, and because all that wasn't really there this year. It's going to be, I'm going to be going back to that WrestleMania for different reasons. The same kind of reason I would go back to a Backlash or a Money in the Bank or a Judgment Day or whatever, to watch any particular moment from a pay-per-view. So like, for example, someone I love winning the championship for the first time, or a particularly historic match like the Boneyard match. And although it was crazy, and although it was, kind of like Matt Hardy's stuff, it had its own twist, it had its own style. It was The Undertaker and AJ Styles putting on this match that they couldn't do in a ring. And it's one of those occasions where they did benefit from the no crowd, no one in attendance, and the sort of very, crazy WrestleMania, unrealistic WrestleMania, if you want to put it that way, where there's no crowd there and they're in this little sort of gym. Only them could do something like that. And then you look at Cena and The Fiend, just absolutely feckin' mental. And one of those ones where I was watching it and I was texting someone at the time. And the way I was like it was like a long text, and I was mid-text, and I was like, I can't even remember what I was talking about now, and I had to kind of put my phone away because I had to watch what was going on. The fact that they broke down all of Cena's career, the whole build up to that match was that Cena, was talking about how Wyatt is overhyped and he is overrated and he always got these opportunities and never capitalised, and the whole match was all about that. But in terms of John Cena, he was overhyped, he was overrated, he had all these things given to him, and sometimes they didn't work. And he had sort of the basic thugonomic stuff, you had the original Ruthless Aggression babyface, you had all that stuff. And then to come to the point where we even got aspects of a huge John Cena when he came out to the NWO theme. Lost my head when that came out, and the Vince quote was hilarious, and just the fact that taking the mick right in everybody's face, and he actively took the mick about everything was just beautiful, and I loved it. And it's what I know I got a lot of flack because it's kind of exposing the business. Back on, it's 2020, my God, they're wrestling in front of no people. And the Boneyard match happened, and even the Boneyard match, I guess, was really realistic compared to everything else. But I don't get that argument, especially these days. They're ruining the business, they're exposing everything. I don't get that argument, and it kind of annoys me a little bit. But whatever. We get these things, and some people love them, some people hate them. But I loved it. And in terms of the Boneyard match, is my WWE match of the year so far, and it's going to be hard to top. Not only was it because it was so incredible, but it was also a constant favourite through my whole wrestling fandom, being AJ Styles, and my all-time favourite wrestler, The Undertaker, as my favourite version of him. American Badass Undertaker over every other taker, for me anyway. Because when I first started getting into wrestling around 2001, he was the American Badass. He was Biker Taker. Keep rolling and everything. You've done it now, you've gone and made a big mistake. He said things like, try me, I'll make you famous. And when he said that on Raw, I got all giddy. Because it's my favourite style of Undertaker. So the fact he was that, and he was talking, and you kind of forget what a great character, what a great persona that American Badass character is. He was doing his own commentary, and he was like, hey AJ, what's my wife's name? And he was going, how old am I now? And it was like these his running commentary, and AJ's great. He's always been great at that sort of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I loved it. And it's my match of the year so far. Hard to top probably. However, when the audience come back and we get back to normal in WWE, I just think we're in for some really, really special moments, because it's going to be this backlog of emotion, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing Drew wrestle Kevin Owens. I'm looking forward to Drew wrestling Edge. I'm looking forward to Drew wrestling Seth Rollins for the title in these pay-per-views, and AJ and the crowd going mental. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of that, Edge versus Randy Orton, the last man standing match. It was long, 37 minutes, but it was one of the best walking brawls in WWE history. It has to be. I mean, they just beat each other senseless all round the Performance Centre, and I loved it because it kind of reminded me of those hardcore title matches from the early 2000s where they would go all around the arena and you would see rooms that you didn't know what they were, and you saw, you know, rooms were lit differently and that sort of thing. I loved that about that match. So Edge and Orton was a big thumbs up for me. Meltzer gave it 1 star. You're joking. You can't get, but for a match like that, you know what I mean? Like if it was meant to be this in-ring classic, and it was you know 40 minutes of them down and up and down and up, maybe 1 star for that. But the fact it was meant to be a brawl, it was meant to go all over the place and be a last man standing match, you can't give it 1 star. It was an excellent last man standing match. You need to kind of take things into perspective, and that's something that the Wrestling Observer kind of miss out on sometimes, is they take everything a bit too seriously, and everything is down to the in-ring stuff when it's not meant to be that, you know. But whatever. We kind of talk about this. I'm kind of repeating myself from the Wrestling Connection podcast, episode 1. I kind of talk about that on there as well. So in more detail, and we get Glenn's perspective, who's been a wrestling fan for so long as well. So definitely check it out if you have the time, if you can be bothered. That'd be good. I'm looking forward to kind of diving into some more generic wrestling topics on the podcast very, very soon. In terms of where we go from here, I don't know. I don't know what we do, because obviously we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long it's going to be until we get back into an arena with an audience. Whether it's going to be another month, you know, I'm assuming Money in the Bank will be in the Performance Centre, which is in May the 10th, I believe, is Money in the Bank, and that's going to be strange as well, because that's always one of my favourite pay-per-views every year. And it's always like a good sort of gauge of where we're at, you know what I mean? Like last year, we had AJ and Rollins for the title. It was this big sort of like, okay, these are the 2 best workers in the company, really, having that title match, and then, you know, you win, whoever wins the Money in the Bank goes on, you know, for the next little while, he or she's going to be the one in charge, and that sort of thing, with that sort of briefcase. So it's going to be a little bit different this year, but that's just sort of the thing we need to deal with. They are picking up a filming schedule where it's going to be live every week again, so I was expecting, you know, it to be a sort of another taped thing, and it's not even a big deal, you know, they should just tape it and you don't even notice, you know what I mean? I thought WrestleMania came off really well taped, because they were able to cut certain things, like the Boneyard match and that sort of thing. And a big criticism for Edge and Orton was that they didn't take advantage of the cuts, it was just all filmed on sort of like 1 or 2 cameras. But that's what I loved about it, it was so gritty, you know, and it looked as if it was kind of, it wasn't supposed to go to this area of the Performance Centre, you know? So anyway, I don't know where we go from here. You know, we obviously had the Big Show being the #1 contender randomly, which I thought was hilarious. And of course, the only reason they did that was because his new Netflix show was out, the Big Show, which I've yet to check out, but I'm looking forward to do it. I might do it today, actually. Check out the Big Show on Netflix. But you know, times are hard right now. There's too much to watch now. We've got all this downtime, and I've just started watching loads of shows. So I'm shooting myself in the foot and giving myself too much to watch. But yeah, I don't know where we go from here, basically. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see where we go, you know, in terms of how it changes stories and that sort of thing because of the situation. But really, I'm looking forward to getting back to normal and getting back on track and getting in front of those audience and that sort of thing, and getting the stories to unfold. But again, we still get all these brilliant promos and this great storytelling that we're going to do over the next few weeks. I guess it'll be a really good build to Money in the Bank at least. So always silver linings, and we'll get, there's a light at the end of the tunnel for all this. So I'm looking forward to that big time. So thanks so much for joining us today here on CM42 TV for our weekly wrestling chat. Remember, the Wrestling Connection podcast is going to be every single Sunday on all podcasting outlets. The pilot is up now on Spotify and other podcasting outlets and on YouTube. And the first official episode, please join us on Sunday for our wrestling stories, how we became wrestling fans. We go long form, each individual, you know, moment, aspect of our fandom getting started is on Sunday. So please check that out here on I was going to say here on CM40. Well, I'll post it here on the channel. I guess I could post the first episode here on CM42 TV and try and get some more eyes and ears on that. So I'd be greatly appreciative. Is that a good phrase for that? If you guys could check that out for me on Sunday. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, everybody. I'll be back here next Sunday for some more wrestling chat here. Wrestling podcast on Sunday, and again tomorrow for your usual reaction style video right here on CM42 TV. Cheers everybody.